Ferrari's history is rooted in the history of motor racing. It also reflects the history of the evolution of exceptional performance road cars, characterized by bold and unmistakable design and technical solutions derived from the racing world. Wow, absolutely Ferrari. That is the mark to have. This brand means so much to so many people, and right now we have a barn find coming, and what none other than a nice vintage 1960s Ferrari. Now do we have a surprise for you? This is the barn find 1967 Ferrari 330 GT 2+2. As you can see, it is filthy, dusty, cracked paint. Nothing on this car has survived properly to be reused again as a restored vehicle. It needs to be completely refinished from front to back. This here is the first production car to come off the line in 1967, this exact VIN. And this is the first Series 2 330 GT 2+2 to ever be produced. And they only made 1,099 Ferrari 330 GTs as a whole, and only 36 in right-hand drive examples. Absolutely unbelievable. This is a rare car. This barn find has a story behind it. So the person that was selling it now was somebody, due to a family passing, had to sell this vehicle. This was stored and imported here into Australia in 1974. Since then, for 46 years, it's never been registered, it's never been driven, hence why it's got low mileage. It's still in some sort of good condition with this special patina, barn patina you could say. It has all the original paperwork, all the books, all the tools, everything's still original and complete. But it's never been registered on the streets of Australia. It was imported from the UK. Its original colour was ice blue. Now it's red. This car will go and undertake a thorough restoration to put it back to original, into a classic that it should be, into a 330 like how it should. It is a V12 engine, 300 horsepower, and let me tell you, the minute you open this door, you realize that this car is so old. So what Ferrari did for the cluster and the center console and the dash, they used a single piece of timber to produce those items. But before we get there, this is an original folder showcasing everything that the car came with complete. As we can see, we've got Ferrari books dated 1974. We've got an instruction manual here, and we've got a whole heap of paperwork and a folder showing everything that the car came with from day one, including original documents, purchase documents back from the UK, and import bills here, showing the chassis number, engine number, and all the thorough details that you need with a car like this. This is provenance at its finest. Today, this day and age, how often do you yourself find a barn find or hear of a barn find this old, especially here in Australia? This is something that's never to be repeated. Hence why this needed its own specially dedicated episode for this Ferrari 330 GT 2+2. Now over to the interior, you can tell that this car is so original, so vintage. It's got the standard gear knob, the gear stick, the 8-track cassette player with a radio beneath it. It's got the standard and original switchgear, the old original cigarette box. It's got the same original dials, and the timber hasn't been refurbished, nor has it been touched. Another feature is these old school Ferraris have the handbrake here, which is in a funny location because that's where your left foot would rest. And this steering wheel, it's very, 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 very special. And we still have things like this really old box. So guys, I'm a little scared to actually sit in this car because it's old, it's never been washed, never been cleaned for the past, what I think might be 46 years. With Ferraris from this era, in the 60s and 70s, they always released them with no mirror at all. Then at the dealer, they'd install a mirror, and it's always on a single side, always on the side of the driver. So US, European car, it's a left-hand drive car, left-hand side mirror. This case, right-hand drive car, right-hand side mirror. Now over to the boot lid. Wow, at least it still holds itself up. We've got the original jack and the original hammer. So this hammer, what they used it for was cars like this with center lock wheels. As you can see, there's two ends. You have to physically knock these out. So to loosen up the wheels, you have to knock them away. Then we've got the tool bag here. This is so old. This is scary actually touching this. But as you can imagine, the old original screwdriver sets here. We've got spanners, we've got all these tools. It's just simply amazing just to see how something like this has been preserved for so many years and sitting right in front of us in 2020 when this car was produced in 1967. These tools are just as old as my dad. Now over to where the V12 sits. This is the Ferrari 300 horsepower V12 engine. Back in its era, 0 to 60 miles an hour in only 7.8 seconds, coupled to a manual stick shift. But this car at some point in its life had the engine heads resprayed to silver. We're going to show you some visuals right now to show you what it should look like. That's all black, completely restored, pristine example. And what we have here are old wire wheels. These are called Barani wheels. And they're on the old original XWX tires. These are so old. They're so old, in fact, that they're all cracked. So original, and what a perfect accessory to have to a car like that. What sets the Series 2 apart from the Series 1 is that the Series 1 had quad headlights at the front, and it was nicknamed the Chinese headlight 330. This has the singles. Now over to the side grills. These resemble the same ones found on the 275, which was built in the same era. And you'll also see side grills like this carry over to modern day Ferraris. This car is so raw, so much that I can tell you that these exhausts have been semi-eaten away by rust. And not to mention all the cobwebs found around the whole car is unbelievable. The dirt, the dust, the water damage. But overall, it's a Ferrari 330 GT, a barn find in 2020. Tell me, when would you ever see another one again?